Tesla's CEO Elon Musk has repeatedly said that prototypes are easy, but production is hard. And now the 4680 batteries and structural battery packs have moved from prototype to production. So Tesla is now experiencing, once again, the hardest part of ramping up a new product, and that's the actual mass production of that product. Tesla has now initiated their Plan B because the 4680 production ramp has been slower than desired. And their Plan B is that they've started manufacturing Model Ys, long-range Model Ys at Gigafactory, Texas with 2170 battery packs instead of the 4680 structural battery packs, and a few of them have now even been delivered to customers. Let's discuss the production problems that Tesla is having with the 4680 battery technology, their Plan B processes as they solve some of the issues regarding the 4680 ramp, and also some of Elon Musk's recent comments about this topic and about their Gigafactories. I'm John, and welcome to Cleanerwatt. Tesla first introduced their revolutionary new large cylindrical 4680 batteries and the structural battery packs in September of 2020, which is almost 2 years ago. And while Tesla has officially started delivery of a small number of Model Ys equipped with this battery format, the standard range all-wheel drive Model Y is that version I'm referring to, the production ramp has been slower than Elon Musk and Tesla would have liked. This slower than expected ramp has even led to Elon Musk calling the new factories in a recent interview gigantic money furnaces. We'll talk more about Elon Musk's comments about gigantic money furnaces in just a minute. But before we do that, I want to dive into some of the details around Tesla's Plan B, which I just alluded to. And that's instead of building only 4680 equipped Model Ys at Giga, Texas, they're now building 2170 battery cell equipped Model Ys at Giga, Texas as well. So let's dive into this Plan B just a little deeper. In Elon Musk's opening statements during Tesla's Q2 2021 investors conference call, he made the following statements. We're also aiming to do a structural pack with 4680 cells, which is a mass reduction and cost reduction, but we're not counting on that as the only way to make things work. We have some backup plans with a non-structural pack and 2170 essentially. He did go on to reiterate, however, that, quote, at scale production, we obviously want to be using 4680s and structural pack. From a physics standpoint, this is the best architecture, and from an economic standpoint, it is the lowest cost way to go. Because of these comments from Elon Musk, when I heard about Tesla building 2170 equipped Model Ys at Giga, Texas, it wasn't a surprise to me, but I did find it interesting for sure, and I believe it's a very wise move for Tesla right now. Now, when it comes to details about some of the actual Model Ys that have been delivered to customers, I found this Drive Tesla Canada article, and they have graciously allowed me to share photos from this article. And I definitely recommend that you go check out this article and read it for yourself. I'll put a link in the video description. And Drive Tesla Canada is a great source for Tesla news. However, this article went on to say, quote, last week we told you about customers unexpectedly receiving VINs for their upcoming deliveries with an A in the 11th position, indicating that their electric SUV was built in Austin. Today, 2 of our readers took delivery of their new cars, and their Model Y long range was in fact built at Giga, Texas. This article went on to mention that a customer named Rick took delivery of a Midnight Silver Model Y built at Austin, and that this Model Y was a long-range dual-motor variant, not the standard range 279-mile dual-motor all-wheel drive variant that we already knew about with 4680 battery cells. This article also went on to mention a customer named Michael, who at the time of the original writing was waiting on delivery of his vehicle, but he actually received delivery with an update that was added by the author of this article. And according to his delivery advisor, his vehicle does not have 4680 battery cells, but instead standard 2170 cells, and his vehicle is a long-range all-wheel drive Model Y. So this is actually really good news for Tesla that they're able right now to initiate this Plan B, and I'm glad they planned ahead for this. Because it allows Tesla to, while they ramp up the 4680 battery production, really kind of stops some of the money loss right now that Elon Musk talked about. It obviously costs a lot of money to build the factories, but it also costs a lot of money to run them. If the 4680 battery technology is going to take a bit more time to ramp up to the volumes necessary to make these factories profitable, the in-between step does make a lot of sense to move to this plan B and build these 2170 equipped Model Ys. I mean, after all, Tesla does have a super large waiting list of customers waiting to buy these long-range all-wheel drive Model Ys, customers that placed orders a while ago. I mean, if you go to the website right now, it takes a while to get a long-range all-wheel drive Model Y if you order one. So they have a long waiting list, and they can sell every one of these that they can manufacture right now. So as many as they can get out the door, that helps their bottom line and helps with the profitability of this Gigafactory in Texas and, of course, the Gigafactory in Berlin as well. Now, I would like to provide a little bit of context around Elon Musk's comments around these Gigafactories burning money like a gigantic furnace. And these quotes come from a YouTube interview that was put out by Tesla owners Silicon Valley on their YouTube channel. And in part 3 of this interview, which I've linked to in the video description, Elon Musk had the following to say about the 4680 battery production ramp and also their new Gigafactories. Quote, "This factory," and he was referring to Gigafactory Texas, "is losing insane money right now. We should be outputting a lot more cars from this factory versus a very puny amount of cars, but we had challenges with the 4680 ramp and with a structural pack ramp, and then ironically the tooling, because we're able to do 2170 cells, but the tooling necessary for making 2170 variant cars was stuck in China." He mentioned a few other basic things, and then he also reiterated, however, that quote, "Now this is all going to get fixed real fast, but it requires a lot of attention and will take more effort to get this factory to high volume production than it took to build it in the first place." And the same is true of Berlin, although Berlin is in a slightly better position because Berlin started off with the 2170 style and did not have the 4680 structural pack. Now, this is where we get into Elon Musk's comments about gigantic money furnaces that you saw a lot of people talking about. And here's the context around that. He mentioned, quote, "Both Berlin and Austin factories are gigantic money furnaces right now. Okay, there should be a giant roaring sound, which is the sound of money on fire. Berlin and Austin are losing billions of dollars right now because there's a ton of expense and hardly any output. So getting Berlin and Austin functional and getting Shanghai back in the saddle fully are overwhelmingly our concerns." Now, with this new 2170 variant Austin-built Model Y coming out, this has allowed Tesla, apparently, according to this Electrek article that I'm going to talk about here, it's allowed them to actually start building a decent amount of Model Ys at this new factory in Texas. According to this Electrek article, which came out June 29th, quote, "Sources familiar with the matter say that Tesla has managed to ramp up production since adding a new version of the Model Y long range, and it now produces several thousand vehicles per week." Okay, so we've talked about Tesla's plan B, but let's go back to plan A once again. Obviously, the long-term goal is to get these 4680 batteries, the structural battery packs, fully ramped, because that's the plan, and that, as Elon Musk mentioned earlier, is the most cost-effective way to produce these Model Ys. Now, obviously, I don't know the exact problems that Tesla is facing when it comes to manufacturing these batteries. I don't have any inside information on that. However, we do know that in the past, Tesla was having issues on something they called calendaring, and it's a process in battery manufacturing that Elon Musk talked about in the Q2 2021 conference call that was held July of 2021. In this Q2 2021 Tesla Investors Conference call, Elon Musk mentioned, quote, "And not to get too much into the weeds of things, but right now we have a challenge with basically what's called calendaring, or basically squashing the cathode material to a particular height. So it just goes through these rollers and gets squashed like pizza dough, basically like very hard pizza dough, and it's denting the calendar rolls. This is not something that happened when the calendar rolls were smaller, but it is happening when the calendar rolls were bigger. In response to Elon Musk's comments there on this conference call, Drew Baglino added, "Yeah, it's not like a science problem, it's an engineering problem." Elon Musk agreed with that, and then Drew Baglino mentioned once again, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Likely since that problem was mentioned last year, they've probably already fixed that issue, but that's just one example of when you move to a larger battery format from 2170 battery cells, a 21 millimeter diameter cell, to a 46 millimeter diameter cell, issues with the production are just going to pop up with equipment. They're going to have to work through these various issues. It's something that I believe Tesla will solve, and I believe it's something that they're probably really already figuring out. They have a lot of smart engineers at Tesla, and the 4680 battery technology is going to be a game changer when it can fully ramp. Now, with that said, when does Tesla, according to their recent comments, when do they expect to fully ramp up this 4680 battery production now that it's been somewhat delayed? The most recent comments that I have from Tesla on this topic to really best answer this question come from Tesla's investors conference call that was held on April 20th of this year, 2022, their Q1 2022 conference call. And on this call, in response to a question about the run rate of 4680 battery production, Elon Musk mentioned once again the Plan B, or his risk mitigation plan, with the 2170 non-structural battery pack capability. But then he added, quote, "If things go according to plan, we will be in volume production with 4680 sometime perhaps toward the end of the third quarter and certainly in the fourth quarter." He followed those comments up a little later by saying, "Yeah, 4680 output is not a risk to achieving 1.5 million vehicles produced this year, but it would become a risk next year if we do not solve volume production by early 2023, but we're highly confident of doing so." So as recent as 2 months ago, Elon Musk and the Tesla team felt confident that sometime in earlier 2023 that they would be able to ramp up 4680 production to some pretty good volumes. So they may be slightly off pace with that now. Obviously, some things change from month to month. But I believe it's fair to say that because of Tesla's talent and the amount of engineering talent that they have, and the fact that they actually have been prototyping and building these batteries in their production line there at Fremont, their pilot production line in Fremont, and working out the little issues, I believe this is going to happen, this production ramp of these 4680 batteries, sometime in the first half of 2023. Obviously, Tesla needs that, but I believe they're going to get that. And Tesla has solved a lot of hard problems in the past with, for instance, the Model 3 production ramp, and I believe they're going to be able to solve this one as well. So really, in conclusion, when it comes to any brand new product, one should expect a somewhat slow product ramp up, because any new product is always going to hit snags, not when it comes to very small volume production, but when it comes to very high volume production, and especially when it's a brand new product with a lot of different changes like the 4680 batteries and the structural battery pack. Do let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. And also, thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. I'd like to take a moment to thank my Patreon supporters who support me every month and help make this content possible. A special thank you to my performance supporters and also the other supporters listed on the screen. If you'd like to find out more about the Patreon community I've set up, I'll put a link in the video description. Thank you so much.